Hey you guys, Indy here with Ultimate Tool Reviews. Well, I got a really cool treat for you today. I picked up some of the latest Metabo HPT impact drivers. Now, they're going to be actually all quite different and even in quite different categories. So I'll start here on the right with basically, the weakest impact driver, but it's also going to be, on the lower side of the price point as well too. So this is the Metabo. This is kind of their current subcompact impact driver. These have been going, on some really good deals here. The WH18DDX, and I'll post some of the specs here on the screen. Now this thing is a really cool impact driver. They've had a lot of awesome deals on these things. I think I picked this thing up for like 60 or 70 bucks. Came with two 1.5 amp hour batteries, a charger, and a free 8 amp hour battery. So I'm gonna use my free 8 amp hour batteries I got with a number of Metabo HPT tools on all these impact drivers today. So these are both running at 8 amp hour, while as the 36 volt running at 4 amp hour at 36 volt. So moving on to the next impact driver, I just got this thing in yesterday. This is the kind of the black edition or black series from Metabo HPT. This is the WH18DBFL2, and they stopped making these about a year or so ago. I picked this thing up on eBay with a battery for about 40 bucks. It was actually a crazy deal. Then I had to grab that thing at that price, so I thought it'd be really cool to pick up something that kind of goes in between some of the Metabo impact drivers and not just the 18 volt triple hammer. Now it does actually have some pretty good specs. It doesn't have really, any features to it other than a battery indicator bar down here, which is pretty nice to have. It does have the light up on top, whereas the Metabo, the newer subcompact, has a light on the bottom with no battery indicator on the tool. Now moving to the 36 volt Metabo, this one has a lot more features to it. We got some speed settings on the side here. We've got a light setting. I've also got there's no battery indicator on this one with this one tool here. But this is the Metabo HPT WH36DB. And I picked this thing up for about 50 bucks on eBay as well too. So got a fantastic deal on all these tools. Metabo HPT is such an underrated tool brand, and they go for such cheap pricing when they hit the used market. It's just a shame that you can pick these things up for so cheap when they're such really well-made tools. So what I'm gonna do here, guys, is just a few small comparison tests between these three. I'm not so concerned with the 36 volt triple hammer as I am with these two impacts going up against each other. I think Metabo was kind of doing something similar to the Makita subcompact line, where Makita did all those blacked out tools. I wasn't really a fan of the Makita subcompact line too much. Some of the tools were kind of the same size, but a lot weaker than, some of the regular tools that are about the same size anyways, for, just a little bit lower price. It didn't really seem like there was much of a point to buy those kind of tools anyways. So let's do some comparison tests here between these three drivers, and let's see which one kind of can come out on top. All right, and then I'm going to use some decking screws here. I have just a regular T25 bit from Bosch. This is not a quick connect collet. I know pretty much every reviewer kind of bashes Metabo HPT for that, but it's a way that they can keep the cost down on these. So of course all these impact drivers are going to do a really good job with these screws. They're going to go in really, really quickly here. And as I got about halfway in, you can see this thing kind of struggle a little bit. Even though I'm giving it, full trigger there, you can see that it didn't go in at just, an ultra fast speed. You can see it struggled just a little bit there. So I'm going to pull this out, and let's try the black edition of Metabo here and see how well that does. And let's see, do we have a quick connect collet on this? We do not. So let's see if this thing goes in any faster with the blacked out Metabo. Definitely felt a little bit quicker there than the newer subcompact Metabo. But one thing I did notice, and check this out, you can see the size difference between these two very quickly. All three of these tools are brushless today, but if you notice, the green Metabo on the left is going to be a bit thinner. It's actually quite noticeably thinner, but the green Metabo is slightly longer. I'd say about 1/4 of an inch longer, maybe up to maybe closer to maybe 1/2 an inch there, a bit longer. So that's going to be your difference there between these two impacts. let's take the screw out and try the triple hammer. Let's see if the triple hammer has a quick connect collet. It does not. Let's see how fast this goes in with the triple hammer. Definitely the fastest between those three impact drivers. That thing really went in real fast. Just a handful of impacts there you could hear at the end, and that thing was already in. All right, so let's try something else here. I'm gonna use the same exact holes that we used for the first screws with a larger lag bolt. And this is gonna be a 4-inch lag bolt here. We're gonna drive this in with the same impact drivers. I'm gonna use the exact same adapters and sockets on each one. And let's see how they do putting each of these impact or these lag bolts in here. I'm gonna use the exact same holes that each of them put in the first screw into, and let's go from there. There we go. All right, now let's give the Black Edition Metabo HPT a chance. I'm going to use the same hole that it drilled in the first screw. And let's go. All right, now let's give the triple hammer a shot here. I'm going to use the same hole that it drilled in before. Let's see how well this thing does. It does really well with the smaller screws. You can utilize more of that triple hammer impact, but it doesn't have as much buildup and force as it does as, say, dual hammer impact. I've never really been a huge fan of the triple hammer stuff myself personally, but I think Metabo HPT, when they make a double hammer impact like everybody else does, they do an amazing job at it. And you know, I really like the subcompact Metabo HPT. It's a little weird they don't have lettering on the other side, or unless there was supposed to or not. Kind of weird, but it's kind of cool to have that, you know, all blacked out look to the tool. Very cool. I wish there was some, you know, some features on the side here or something. It does look really cool regardless though. But for, you know, the price point you can find these things at, I've been seeing these things kind of hit eBay and pawn shops in that sub $60 range. I kind of waited till I found a really cheap one with a battery, and that's what I grabbed here. But I'm looking forward to using this thing a lot more, but definitely not a brand to sleep on. These things are awesome tools. Amazing warranty, lifetime warranty. However, I would doubt this thing is probably still covered by any warranty anymore. It is now discontinued, I think, for quite a while now, a couple of months, maybe 6 months or so plus, and they might not have parts for this anymore. But anyways, it's a fantastic tool. You can get these things really, really cheap. I'm a big fan of any Japanese impact drivers. They do an amazing job. And you know, Metabo HPT, such an underrated tool brand. Really happy to see this tool in action and see how well it does. And just wanted to see how much this tool weighs in comparison to the other ones without a battery installed. So let's see here. We're at 2 pounds, 0.1 ounces. Let's try the triple hammer now. I'm gonna assume the triple hammer is gonna be the most, pretty much the heaviest one. Yeah, 2 pounds, 0.2 ounces. Pretty much nearly the exact same weight there as the subcompact. I'm assuming this one will be the lightest, the newest subcompact. Yeah, 1 pound, 12.1 ounces is going to be your comparison in weight. Now, if we line these up against each other here, I'm kind of curious to see which one is the longest, which one is kind of the thickest there. Let's see here. Actually, I got them in good order already too. So on my left is going to be that new subcompact. Clearly the longest there, but definitely the thinnest head. We've got the blacked out one here. It looks to be pretty much identical to the 36 volt triple hammer there, and I would say maybe just a hair wider from what it looks like, because it got the bumpers on here that make it just slightly wider than the triple hammer. So yeah, these are pretty comparable impact drivers. You know, I've got the newer ones back here, but this, blacked out Metabo HPT, this thing is pretty amazing. It puts out a good amount of power, definitely a great build quality, and very impressed with the amount of, power and affordability you can find this thing at. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Leave me a comment below what you think about Metabo HPT impact drivers. If you own any, let me know what you think of them so far. And guys, take care, be safe out there. Hope you enjoyed the video.